Welcome to Community Pharmacy Scotland's guide for community pharmacists to apply to join Disclosure Scotland's PVG scheme. This guide contains all the information you need to complete your application form. The first thing we need to do is make sure that you are completing the correct form. If you have a certificate that states Enhanced Disclosure at the top right hand side, then you are not a member of the PVG scheme, as this was a different scheme. You need to complete an application to join PVG Scheme Form. If you don't have any previous certificates and have never been a PVG scheme member, then you also need to complete this form. If you are already a member of the PVG scheme and need to update your scheme membership, then you need to complete an existing PVG scheme application form. Now pick which guide you need. You are applying for a scheme record and need to be disclosed for both children and protected adults. All yellow boxes on the form must be completed. Even if you don't want an online account with Disclosure Scotland, please complete B19 to B21, as we may need to contact you about your application. If we can't contact you about any queries we may have, then your application may be rejected. Please complete B1 to B3, remembering to include your middle names. All names must be written in full. Initials are not acceptable unless this is how your name appears on your birth certificate. Before you complete B5 to B13, if you are adopted or transgender, please refer to page 3, note B in the Disclosure Scotland guidance notes. Please complete B13, as this is often missed by applicants. Complete the birth details section, remembering to cross gender box, as this is often missed by applicants. If you haven't already completed the contact details section, please do it now. If we can't contact you, your application may be rejected. Please complete this section, remembering where you have selected yes to enter any extra details. For question B28, a provisional licence is acceptable. For question B36, if you have selected yes, then you are completing the wrong form and should be completing an existing PVG scheme member application form. For question B38, the ISA is the Independent Safeguarding Authority, which is the English equivalent of Disclosure Scotland. You must supply 5 years address history, or your application may be rejected. Please remember to complete resident from boxes. If you are a NES pre-reg student, then you should select no, as you have not yet received your GPHC registration number. In the Disclosure Scotland guidance notes, the regulatory body is listed as the Royal Pharmaceutical Society of Great Britain, Code 110. These notes were printed before the changeover to the GPHC, and you should still enter this code for question B84. You should enter your GPHC registration number for B85. Before you sign Part C, please refer to page 5, note C in the guidance notes, then sign and date your form, keeping your signature inside the box. For question D1, please select no and cross the box for D2. Community Pharmacy Scotland only accepts cheques and postal orders as forms of payment, and these should be made out to Community Pharmacy Scotland, not Disclosure Scotland. For D3, you should select Registered Body Invoice, even when you are paying by cheque or postal order. If you are not sure who is paying for this application, please refer to the cover letter included in your application pack or contact your employer. Your application is now almost finished, but you now need to supply 3 ID photocopies. You must supply 3 different photocopies of ID, one of which must be photographic. These must prove your date of birth, name and your current address. If you have a passport and driver's licence, then they are ideal for this purpose, although other forms of ID can be used. For your current address, whatever you use must be less than 6 months old. The best items to use for this are electric, gas and phone bills. A bank statement or something similar may be used with all your account details blacked out, but we must be able to see your name, address and the date of the statement. Now check that you have everything before putting it all in the envelope. You should return your application form and any spare sheets of paper you have used for extra details. Now add your 3 ID photocopies and your application is complete. If you have any questions about your application that are not covered by this guide, then please contact Community Pharmacy Scotland using these details. We would also appreciate any feedback about this guide, for example, whether you found it helpful or if you found anything difficult to understand.